Welcome back to Channel's Business Global with me, Juliana Olayinka, from our studios here in London. On today's show, we're looking into 2020 by looking back at some of the biggest global financial stories that shaped our world. Britain's bitter divorce from the EU has divided the nation. Following a snap general election, Boris Johnson won a famous victory, getting the Tories their biggest majority since 1987 and helping to reduce Labour to its lowest tally of seats since 1935. The result has redrawn Britain's political map. The Tories now hold Leave voting seats in the North and the Midlands that had voted Labour for the best part of a century. Now, assessing the economic implications of Britain's departure is difficult. According to Full Fact, the UK's independent fact-checking charity, Boris Johnson's new withdrawal agreement is seen to be a harder Brexit than negotiated under Theresa May. As such, economists estimate the impact on the economy to be greater. After 10 years, GDP per person would be around £1,500 less under May's deal, £2,000 less under Johnson's deal, and £2,500 less under no deal, compared to staying with the EU. Let me ask about what's going on with diaspora members of the community. You're both key figures within that. What are we doing? What are they doing to put pressure on Britain? Because some are saying that, hang on a minute, this is an opportunity for Africans, especially those of us who are in the UK, literally on the doorstep of number 10 Downing Street, to say, hang on, we're here, let's build these trade relationships. Or is it not that easy?
Thank you. That's why I smile. It's not that easy, and I don't think anyone can put pressure on Boris Johnson or whatever this cabinet decision they're going to make. And majority of, as you know, majority of people from Africa are actually Remainers. They campaign for the UK to remain in.
But we're leaving, Sister Susan.
That is the reality.
Deal, we will be leaving.
The reality is, I'm not going to. I'm a bit biased, like you said. I can say to you, I wouldn't be forthright saying deal or no deal. We are leaving.
What are Africans doing to take advantage of Britain's political climate at the moment?
I'm not too. I don't think there is anything proactively that Africans are doing at the moment because of the uncertainty, as Femi put it earlier on. Because even just yesterday, the businesses in the UK, they said 70% of businesses in the UK are not actually ready for a no-deal exit,
yes.
A scenario. So majority of Africans, there is this sort of wait and see what is going to happen, what is going to be the end game. So I don't think we're proactively doing anything to say we are here. But I just want to mention something. The UK is the UK is home to a large population of African migrants, people in diaspora like us, and the UK is like the 10th country where they have the highest remittances in the whole of the world. And those remittances in terms of Africa, a lot of remittances go from people in diaspora to Africa, which contribute to a major to African economy. With no deal Brexit, as we can see, the pound is down already. And what that will actually impact African economy when it comes to the remittances coming from the UK, from African migrants, African in diaspora, sending money to Africa.
That's a really interesting point, one I've not heard, but one that has tremendous value, because we know just how valuable those remittances are. We've all got family members that benefit from that. Do you think African governments then, considering how many of us are in the UK, need to take more of an interest? You're a publisher. Are they?
I don't think they are. And that's Africa for you, sadly. Sometimes...
preoccupied with domestic issues?
One. Two, I don't think we're always as proactive as we should be. We tend to be more reactionary to events or international events than we should be. But more importantly, I think it's also about the fact that Africa has probably a lot more to worry about. I also believe that even when you talk about the African diaspora community, I don't believe we're as strong and as formidable in terms of of working together to be a major political force down here. So in reality, when you're talking about Brexit, and as far as the government is concerned, I don't really see. In fact, at the very best, they'll probably lump all of us together as black and minority,
BMEs, black and minority ethnic.
Yeah. So rather than single out rather than single out Africans. So in terms of Africa itself, like I said, even Africa is busy, looking at other countries. I'm not even sure that the kind of relationship that Nigeria had with Britain, despite the fact that they were former colonial masters, despite the fact that we're part of the Commonwealth, it's changed.
It's a consistent general public perception that Jeremy Corbyn cannot be trusted with the economy. He cannot be trusted on negotiating a fair and balanced deal for the UK leaving the European Union. And he definitely cannot be trusted, in keeping Britain as one of the most competitive countries in the country.
Can Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, be trusted?
Absolutely.
People within his own party say they cannot trust him. The whip was removed from 21 of his own MPs.
In fairness, he did win by a major landslide. The leadership of the Conservative Party. It wasn't even close.
That was with a small bubble of just over 100,000. I'm sorry, you said members of his own party. But that was only about 100,000 people.
That's
and
correct.
Some would say there was tactical voting.
So he won about 60 or 70% of the vote. So it was not even close. And within his own party as well, those 21 MPs that had the whip or the membership of the Conservative Party, not membership of the party, but the Conservative representation in Parliament removed from them, 10 of them had the whip restored yesterday. So they're now back in the fold, and they've always been Conservatives. They only voted against the government on 1 or 2 occasions, but in the vast majority of cases, they have voted with the government. So if you ask any of this remaining 11 people, they'll broadly still see themselves as Conservatives. They might have a different...
Well, that doesn't mean that they trust Boris Johnson. Let me ask you about the political climate in the UK. Let me ask you about the political climate in the UK.
This issue of Brexit is a defining issue in British politics right now. It is split families.
Should it be the defining issue? Should it be the defining issue? We've had the British GDP, that contracted for the first time in Q2 in 7 years. The economy is shrinking.
Yes.
The business executives, up and down, whether you're in a FTSE 100 company or you're running your own corner shop, they want certainty. They want Britain to be focusing on growth. They want Britain to be focusing on jobs, not this populist sloganism politics.
Well, I have to just correct one thing very quickly. It is very easy to spew out bad news about the British economy. The reality of the fact of the matter is this: despite Brexit, the UK economy is still growing. We haven't had a recession. It's been close, but that had never happened.
The UK economy is still growing. I refute that.
In Germany, the UK
economy is not growing. It's stagnant. It's pretty much stagnant. Some people were suggesting we could actually be heading into a recession.
But it hasn't happened. If you remember, during the campaign referendum, there was all this, and I'm saying this as someone who actually voted to remain in the EU, by the way, and I campaigned for us to remain in the EU, but if there was an election tomorrow, again, I will vote for us to leave the European Union.
Wow.
Because the fact of the matter is this: a lot of the projections of what was going to happen, the UK economy was going to collapse. Once we leave the EU, the economy is going to suffer, we're going to struggle, and unemployment is going to increase. But actually, we've got record levels of employment in the UK now.
Okay, yes.
And many more of these jobs are full-time jobs. Many of these are professional, high-skilled paying jobs. And if you look at what's happening in Germany, on the other hand, Germany is now in a technical recession. So nobody knows what's going to happen. And of course, I accept that there will be some kind of a hit. But the reality is Brexit is a dividing issue in the UK, but we have to get Brexit done so that businesses can move forward and the economy can start growing again.
Sadly, that's all we have time for today, but do get in touch with your comments and suggestions. I'll see you at the same time next week for more in-depth business analysis on Channel's Business Global. Goodbye.